No hangovers here.
Beer kills brain cells.
Just pure hope.
Cannonball!
And inspiration. With your recovering radio outlaws, Mickey the Kid and the Sober Gangster.
Those two little bastards are a perfect argument for birth control.
It's Shot of Hope live.
So I am your host, Mickey the Kid, and man, I've got the Sober Gangster hanging out with me in the top left corner of this mother effer. And our special guest tonight is going to be Tim O. He is owner, entrepreneur of the Last Drop Clothing. You can check them out at the lastdropclothingco.com. And man, let's get it real quickly, man. Just to ask you guys real quick, how's everybody doing? How Sober Gangster, how you doing? Tim, how you doing?
I'm loving it. I'm great. I got a new mic. How's it sound? Do I need to get close? Is it working?
Oh, you're doing great.
Get close.
Check. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk with Tim, and of course, I'm excited to sit here co-hosting with you.
Absolutely, man. Tim, so welcome to the Shot of Hope Live, man. We are a new family, sober, recovery family, where you can come to get inspiration, some humor, and some great recovery and some great stories. And the big deal is we're looking forward to your story tonight. And before we go into all the, we could go through all the drug and everything. What I really want to know right out of the rip before we, hear like some crazy war story is what was your final moment like before you decided that you were done? Like, I want to know that last day. Like that.
Yeah.
Let's just fast forward, because you probably drank and used drugs like every other savage out there.
Always, right? Like
that last hopeless day of your life.
Oh man, yeah, and I'm doing good. Very grateful, very humbled to be on here. Like I was telling Sober Gangster, this is the second podcast I've done, and it's always so humbling just getting that DM or getting that message saying hey, do you want to be on this podcast? It's always dude, what? Me? What? All right, cool. That sounds great, man. Yeah, let's do it. And yeah, man. Like most of us, I did all the things. I was in the spot. Basically the last time was, man, I was in my parents' basement. I picked up for the last time, and I was basically homeless, jobless, just being a terrible trash human, and, basically used everything that I had. And then, I was on my knees, and I was literally just looking up to the sky being God, if you want me to be here, then show me you want me to be here, and and it was crazy because then after that, in my state that I was in of, chaos and drunken, insanity, and I was, stoned out of my mind. I was loaded. And after that, I kind of got this feeling of everything is going to be okay. And everything was going to be cool. And, after that, the next day is when I got my first 24 hours. And so it's I love how that all happened. And it really just showed me that I do have someone looking out for me. It's not just me looking out for myself. I have a higher power that is there for me, that loves me and cares for me, and loves me enough to keep me on this earth. Because easily that night I could have drank myself to sleep. I could have, the drugs that I could have used could have had whatever in it, and I could have killed myself. And that didn't happen. I woke up and I was dude, I'm done. I'm done.
Tim, can I out you a little bit?
Yeah.
Didn't you just celebrate 3 years?
Yes. Yeah.
So when was that?
Yeah, so I just got 3 years this past Friday. It was October 6th is my clean date.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Can't believe I made it.
I got goosebumps. It's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a big year too. That number 3, because getting 1 was tough, right? We made it to 2, but man, number 3, it was I don't know what your trials and tribulations are, but we're going to get to your trials and tribulations, because I know my first year, my dad died. you know, and at 11 months clean, you know, my second year, man, I was struggling with work and then I found this great job and started making money. My third year, I just bought a house. So, you know, so like, I know that there's everybody had that 3 year, it's the trifecta, you know, and then they say you get the 7-year itch, which is, I don't want to ever feel that again. Cause I had that itch.
Yeah. I felt like in that 3 years, it was like the pink cloud started to like, life got great. Then I really started to experience life, but then the pink cloud started to fade away and it started to be like, okay, now I really have to, dig into this to see what's going on.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it was, it was crazy, you know, like and it's weird because I barely remember like my first year. Right. And like, I mean, I remember it, but it wasn't to the point of like, you know, I don't remember all of the details, but I remember like doing what I had to do, you know. My first priority was to like stay clean, was to continue to stay clean. And, you know, it was like, I got a job and, kind of like what you were saying. It's like, I got a job and life got good. And then, let's see. And I had a couple of friends pass away from the disease of addiction, you know, like I had friends in the program who were, you know, good friends. And, you know, it's like I had like probably a year and a half. Oh yeah. And then like, you know, right when I got my first year clean, I was in a real bad relationship and, this chick pulled a knife on me. She basically, we were like, I didn't have a driver's license. We were staying in this like house in the middle of nowhere in Northwest Colorado. And I didn't have a car. Like literally all it was is like her car. And I came home one night from a meeting or work or something. And it was like, and she was just like, she was out of her mind, you know, cause she was also continuing to use. Right. And she was like, you know, in a bad spot. And I remember I came home and she was cooking and what she was cooking was like almost on fire. Like the room was just full of smoke. And I was like, what's going on? And she literally like pulled a knife on me and was like, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, what? And, you know, we got into an argument and I literally like ran out of the house and hid in the woods. And I slept in the woods. I literally, all I had was like a blanket and the clothes on my back because I knew I was like, I'm not coming back to this house. And I've no way to get anyone to come get me because I didn't really know anyone. And I like slept in the woods for a night. And literally,
where was this at? Where were you living at the time?
I was in it was in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And It was like the end of summer, so it was still warm outside. At night, it probably got down to like 50 or 40, but you know, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was a little cold. And then then like literally the next day, I called my parents and was like, I need to be picked up from this place, you know. And I was humble enough as like, I was 30 at the time, and we were also engaged. And so after that, I literally like got taken back to my parents' house. Called her, went to her house because she went back to Denver, and I met up with her and I was like, yo, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I cannot be with someone who is using and who is trying to pull a knife on me like when we get into arguments, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna be the next dinner.
Yeah, seriously. Not the next Hello Fresh, you know? Like
Literally.
Yeah, man. So that was crazy. But 3 years, man. And then this year, my wife and we actually just bought a house on the western slope of Colorado. So
nice.
Same kind of progression, you know. And it's just it just keeps getting better. And it's such a great reminder of like I have to remember where I came from and what I came from, and I have to remember that like life is good, but like I can so easily be like right back where I was, you know. I'm so terrified of being complacent and being like, it's good. I got money. I'm going to go pick up, you know, like, and it's just, it terrifies me to this day, you know?
Oh, I deserve a drink. I deserve something. Yeah.
I deserve to smoke some crack. No thanks.
I tell everybody the greatest liar I know is the one that lives in between these ears.
Yeah.
He's the greatest liar I know, man. He is the convincing, you know, bro, dude, you've been at this for 7 years, you know? You can go, come on, you can have a beer, man. You just used alcohol to medicate your fucking problems, man. That's all.
Of course.
And then, I'm telling my sponsors, yeah, guys, man, you guys are down in Florida. I'm in Virginia. I'm doing this radio thing, but hey, you guys may want to look for another sponsor because I'm drinking again. And I'm doing good, man. I don't recommend it to you, but I'm just letting you know, man. I finally found my spiritual self, and and then you wet the bed 3 times later, and your wife wants to kill you. All this stuff happens. You're almost getting arrested, losing jobs, and I totally get that. And that was at 7 years. I made that fatal mistake at 7 years.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
That alcoholic brain, that addict brain.
And there's nothing more humbling than walking into a room of everybody that you haven't seen in 5 years, and they've got time, and you're coming in to grab the whitey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Humbling. That would be so humbling.
That's why so many guys, that put time together and they go back out, they die because their egos won't allow them to come back in.
Yep, it's true.
A lot of guys, man, I've seen guys with 15 years, 20 years, went out, decided to have a glass of wine at dinner, just thought that now it was the time. You've gone 20 years. What makes you think, what's 20 more, bro? What do you, the wheels come off.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel about my recovery today. I feel like I have to do it. I have to treat my recovery like I treated my using. I would wake up and do anything to use. I prostituted my principles. And my principles and my values were gone, and it was literally like I would do anything to make the physical and mental pain go away. And in order to get through that, I had to endure that physical and mental pain. And
for sure, pain is necessary for growth.
Yes,
I almost just wrote down that prostituted my principles, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good.
That was sexy.
It is so true. Like it is so. Any sort of principle that I thought I had, gone, didn't exist. There was nothing that was off limits. Nothing was off limits.
Yeah. Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Like I would do anything to use. So like today, I have to do anything and everything for my recovery. Like I always, like 99% of my time, try and put my recovery first all the time. Whether it's trying to make a meeting while I have a lunch break and like being honest about that, and if I'm having some feelings that I need to be working through, I'm going to go to a meeting. Or like, if I can't make it to a physical meeting, I'll go to a meeting online. Or like, I'll call my sponsor or call another person in the program. Today, I really like to practice like brutal honesty, like I have to be brutally honest with myself and with others, because like, and sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it's like something, I don't want to hear, other people want to hear, but it's like, it's what I got to do, because like the minute I start lying is the minute that I'm going to start thinking that using is a good idea,
Yeah. What's the darkest story you have during your addiction? The worst, where's that, where you prostituted that one principle that you didn't, and you don't have to share it. If it's too dark, man, you don't have to go there, but
it's like, and it's like
which one?
It's like what one? There's so many, man.
What's the one though? If you tell, well, I don't want you to tell me the most horrific ones that you wouldn't tell anyone, but there's one that's right before that one, and that's
let's put an asterisk on that. We are live, so nothing that will get you thrown in jail. I don't want to hear that one.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Compromise your principles. I'm not asking about robbing banks and not any of that.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't go that.
I would never do that. Like here's a great one for me and it's a principle I haven't compromised yet. Is I said I would never put a needle in my arm, and to this day I've never put a needle in my arm. But what my sponsor always says is, he says, you haven't put in a needle in your arm yet, and he goes, you know what yet stands for? You're eligible too, motherfucker.
Ooh. I like that. That's good.
I was like, whoa, holy shite, man. What are you hitting me with that you're eligible to thing? YET. And I was like, oh, there's that yet piece, man. And I was like, that's the real talk though. He's like, yeah, man, you haven't done that yet. and I just think all the things that I did that I thought I would never do, that, those yets that came true. And there was a couple, there's quite a few, in my time of using it was, I'm not proud of.
No, definitely. Like and it's same with me, I said the minute that I go to a store and ask them like, hey, I need some needles, or like try and get the experience of like, and I was there, I was to the point where I was like, how I am using is not working anymore, because it was like, I was getting fixed, I was waking up and I was sick and I was trying to get a fix, and it was just like, cool. I got a little good feeling for about 5 minutes, and then it was no more. And then I was like, okay, I could go about my day. I could go to work, and, and then that led to doing more. And then I was like, and that's why I call myself an addict today, because you put anything in front of me that I can be obsessive and compulsive about, I will, sex, drugs, rock and roll, man, you put it in front of me and I will do it. I mean, there's a couple of things like hallucinogenics and blah, 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 like whatever, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like you still, if I'm having a problem and I'm not in a good spot with my recovery and it's going to help me not be where I am today, then I will do it, and like, I would say the one, and so I was arrested multiple times, probably like lots of us. And like, there were definitely a lot of times that I should have been arrested, and, and there was one time that, and I this won't put me in jail because it's like, it's like how, but yeah, there was definitely one time where I like basically wrecked my truck, and I was like, had a brand new truck because I thought I was a baller and I thought I was, hot stuff. And I like got this sweet Toyota Tacoma, and I was driving it home, and I passed out at the wheel doing like 70 miles an hour, and it was probably like 2:00 in the morning, and like basically came to while my truck was like going up a guardrail or like a concrete embankment. And I like came to right there, like right as my truck was about to flip, and I like jerked the wheel just enough to give it like a little bit of momentum to come back down. And it came back down with so much force that like my side airbags deployed and all my side windows broke out. And I literally like got off the highway. Crazy enough, it was like the exit that I lived at. And I pulled over and I like pushed the airbags down, and I literally like looked at my truck and was like, I'll be fine. I'll fucking drive home. Drove home, got to my apartment. I literally got out of my truck, looked at it, and it was probably totaled, like I probably bent the frame or something. And this was after like my truck had been stolen a couple of times, because like I like to hang out in bad neighborhoods, man. Like what can I say? Yeah. And like so I get back to my apartment, and I literally get out of my truck and I look at it, and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do? That's all I got. And I literally went upstairs and I used, and I fell asleep, and I woke up the next day like nothing happened, and I got back in my truck and I drove that thing around probably for another 2 or 3 months until I got arrested again. And then as it was in like the impound, I just decided like, yo, I'm just going to file an insurance claim on it. I got it out of impound, filed the insurance claim, and then I didn't have a car for a while. So that was probably the closest thing to where it was like, went to jail once for being under the influence, and then was driving some more and still dealing with that. And then like, after a while, it was just like, dude, what am I doing with my life? Like, I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm off paper now, which is like, thank God.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to, worry. And I still have like the fear of authority, anytime I see a cop pull up behind me or next to me, I'm always like, hi, how are you? I'm sober. I'm sober. I'm good today,
Right here. I've got it.
Yeah.
Put it up to the window. Yeah.
And I always keep my basic text in the front seat of my car. I keep my basic text in the front seat of my car because I'm always like, dude, if I ever get pulled over, maybe that cop will see that and I'll be like, hey man, can I just talk to you about some H&I before I get this speeding ticket or whatever? And then, and that's like also what I live for today too, is also to, I love going into hospitals and institutions,
Sure.
carrying a message of Narcotics Anonymous. And, it's just like, I have to try and share a message today to someone who might not be able to hear that message because of wherever they're at,
So what's that like going into those institutions, and are you going into treatment facilities, into the jails?
Yeah. So when I was living in Steamboat last year, I was going into the jails like once a week, the county jail that was there. And there was normally like 5 to 8 people that would come, and it was just such a solid reminder because like I would get buzzed in with another addict and we would, go through 3 sets of doors, and it was just such a solid reminder. And we would have to get like metal detected before we'd go in. We would go behind 3 sets of doors, and it was just such a great reminder every single week of like, dude, I could be right here. I could be right here.
That clank that goes on when you hear that go behind you, that closing of the door.
The door
Man,
that's like this thick.
I hated that about going into jails, man. Especially in early recovery. I was like, oh my God, I do not miss that.
Brought it back. And it just brought it back. It brought it back every time. And so where I'm at now, the rules are a little bit stricter for jails, but it's good because we have a lot of rehabs and a lot of detoxes where I'm at, and all of them are very, very welcoming to any program that wants to come in. And so it's nice because same thing, like, once every week or every 2 weeks, I get to go in and be with like 20 or 25 people who are either just off the street, just out of jail, who've been detoxing for a couple of days and are literally like trying to figure out a new way, and it's so nice being able to be like, yo, here's a new way that like you could potentially live if you want it, and it's just like kind of like what I was saying in the beginning, like I just feel like I have to give back now, I have to give back to the people that may need it, because if I was in that spot, and when I think back to the days that I was using, if I would have just like gotten a little bit of a taste when I was like just getting to the bad part of using and like doing anything I could to use, if I would have just like had someone be like, hey man, you can live differently in there, and my brain, I probably would have been like, no, it's all right. But then there might have been one of the days where I would have been like, I know where to go. Like, I don't have to go to rehab. I don't have to go to a detox. I don't have to go talk to a doctor. I could just go to this meeting, or I could go to that meeting and like, maybe have gotten a little bit of hope there. And so and that's just what it's all about, man. I'm just trying to spread a little bit of hope.
I do remember, being in rehab or jail and having to be ordered to go sit in the meeting of whatever 12-step program was being brought in there. And I can remember some of the speakers, and I can remember some of what they said. And, you start to get that head full of recovery. When it hurts bad enough, you at least know where to turn to. And, it definitely impacted my life when people would take the time out of their day to come into whatever treatment, whatever net got thrown over me and put me into incarceration, wherever I happen to be. I heard a solution that would come back when the time was right. And I would remember what that person said and go find that solution. So I think it's a big deal going in and doing that work.
Yeah.
Well, as it was taught to me, when I first got in, the one thing my sponsor said to me was, hey, look, the first year is for you. Every year after that is for the group, and it's for the newcomer. It's for the new guy walking in. It's for the hospitals and institutions. It's for the jails. It's for the, whatever is recovery based, setting up for the Halloween party, setting up for the Christmas marathon meetings, bringing a fucking dish there, it's just that small little piece, a sliver that we could never in the history of our lives ever give back to God or Narcotics and or whatever fellowship for the lives we have today. the freedom we have today. That's the one thing I always have to remember, man, is that I say that when I'm in the meetings. I say I can never get back to, my fellowship from what it's given me, for the life it's given me. There's just no way. There's no, the amount isn't, there's not enough money, there's not enough that I can continue to keep doing. That's enough. There's never enough, it's staying late after the meeting and grabbing that new guy that's, got 3 days clean and he's living in an Oxford house and doesn't know if he wants to stay there or get high tomorrow night, after his job.
Yeah.
And, you see it every day, where we see people, it's it's our duty. It's truly our duty. And when you have guys like us that recover loudly, people, it's an attraction, that's that attraction rather than promotion thing is that people are attracted to something, whatever you got. I need to know how I can feel like you're feeling. And how do I get that smile like you're smiling? Because I got nothing to smile about. I can't even afford a pack of cigarettes, and I'm eating ramen noodles that are donated from the food bank, to the halfway house that I'm living in. So I see those cats, man, and that's why it's it's imperative to it's like they say, you have to live the program. You have to live it. It's not no shucking and jiving and I'll do this step and I'm going to jump over that one. We're going to try and get here. And then I'm going to go to 10 and then we're going to come back to 6 and hit 4. And you got these cats that do that stuff. There's like my sponsor always said, the only idiot in the room is the one that sponsored himself. Because when you're left to your own devices, you leave me alone to make my own decisions. Boy, watch what happens, buddy. There'll be a 3-ring circus, and I'll be getting arrested.
Yeah, exactly. And today, and even when I first came in, and I got my sponsor, I called him when I needed to, hey, do I need to fill up my car with gas? Do I need to go grocery shopping? I didn't know how to live, man, because it was I was so used to living how I was living. I needed another man who had more clean time than I did to show me how to do it. And it was he was the one, and it was nice because he had 40 years at the time, and I could relate to him because he was a drummer and he was also he did a lot of creative stuff, and I was man, this dude is just he's the dude, he's the 80-year-old version of me or whatever, and he literally kept things so simple also, if I ever had a problem, he wouldn't give me a whole 20-minute talk and treat me like I was his kid, or he was the one dictating how my life goes. He would just be hey, go look in the book, go look in this chapter, go look at this step. And it always went back to the steps. And I was so grateful that he did that, because now today, whenever I have a problem, I'm do I need to surrender to this? Do I need to talk to my higher power about this? Do I need to do an inventory about this? Do I need to make some amends? And I always try to take my problems back to the steps, because it's the steps have taught me how to live a new life. And, if I try to handle my own problems to my own devices, I'm gonna make them far worse. And it's today I've gotten to the point where it's I'm okay when it comes to problems, but there's still I gotta think about it. And I have to, which is a crazy concept, right? Yeah. For me, especially because it's whenever a problem would come up, I would just be this is how I handle it. And I would handle it. And now it's oh man, I have to think about this other person. I have to think about me. I have to think about this situation that we're in. I have to think about how this will affect me. And it's just it's just crazy how it all works now. And I'm so grateful that my sponsor showed me how to, get through the steps and how to handle the situations. And a lot of times, he would just listen to me, and he would listen to me and just hear me out. And it's instead of telling me what to do, he would ask me more questions and help me come to an informed decision based on, his wisdom. And that's how I like to treat my sponsees today is, I'm not going to call my sponsees and be hey, are you working your steps? Because that's me trying to hold them well, it's important with the accountability part, but that's
but
I don't need
to cover at your own pace.
Yeah, and like I don't need a babysit. I don't need to try and like take this person and make their recovery my recovery, because my recovery is my recovery. And like I'm not going to be like, "Hey man, you need to go work this step and you need to go do this and you need to read this," like and so I put it into their hands, because it's like, and I say, "Hey, if you have a problem, call me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you have a problem, we'll talk about it. And maybe I can give you some suggestions, you know. But a lot of times,
are you a relationship counselor though? Can you handle that?
Oh no way, dude! You don't want to hear my relationship counseling.
Dude, like, don't come to me. I mean, I've saved my marriage, but you know, there's no PhD on the back here that says, you know, I know how to navigate that shit, because different strokes for different folks, you know. And on that sponsee piece, you know, I just heard probably the most brilliant phrase ever the other day, and they, you know, so now my new thing is when my sponsees come to me, you know, with questions or whatever, I said, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Ooh, that's good.
Magic
that's
you're looking
really
for
good.
is in the work you're not doing. So
that's so true.
And that, I saw that the other day, and it peeled my wig straight back, dude. I was like,
yeah,
who said that? Because I would love to give whoever it was like a meme somewhere, and it says the magic you're looking for is in the work you're not willing to do, or something like that. And I was just like, wow. That's why. Yeah, I'm too busy. Like we talked about last week, me and the sober gangster, I was talking about, you know, constant comfort. You know, I get that 11th step mixed up as I'm looking for that conscious contact, but instead I'm asking God for constant comfort, and my conscious contact goes away because I'm too busy asking for shit for me. And I've lost the constant contact with God and or conscious contact, and instead there I am pulling for that constant comfort. And man, I can't tell you how I finally have just reestablished my conscious contact again, and all these amazing things started just as me, Mr. Sober Gangster here, we're talking about earlier today. And you know, I've just had some pretty amazing things happen in just a short period of time, in 3 days, because I've had to retool the way I pray and the way I've been doing things. And now it's a let go and let God. I can't, he can't. I think I'll let him, and just, you know, let it rip from there.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into the Last Drop clothing? Let's ask that. Where did the Last Drop come from? From the clothing line? How'd you come up with that? And then what inspired you? What took you into that, wanting to go into entrepreneurship in a clothing line, which is a really hard profession to really, you know, transcend.
Yeah. Man, ever since I can remember, like when I was in high school, I was really into like punk music, and I was a skateboarder and snowboarder, and I loved creating things, and I was like always in a band, and you know, I would be the one who would go to Walmart and buy 10 t-shirts and make a stencil and spray paint the t-shirts with our band logo on it, and then we'd sell those at shows. And you know, even when I was a kid, I was always drawing like logos and drawing you know, designs and bottom of skateboard designs and like little icons, and I was always drawing and just being creative and stuff. And so after, let's see, so when I was in college, I tried to start a clothing brand, and I was like really got into screen printing and really got into like, you know, making my own t-shirts with my own little like screens. And so from there, I was like, yeah, man, like I would love to see this happen. And, you know, being a broke college kid who just loved to party and skateboard all the time and like take care of, you know, art projects and, you know, my graphic design projects that I was doing in college, I just couldn't put it all together. And at that time, it was like 2011. And so like social media was super new, and I had no clue how to do it. And I was like, dude, I'll just, you know, I'll use my graphic design degree and maybe one day it'll happen. And so here we are, like what is it? 2023. 23. Yeah, man, that's so
They're
crazy.
All a blur. It's a blur.
Yeah. It's like 11 years later after doing this professionally for I've been designing professionally since 2012.
Wow.
And you know, finally I'm like to the point, and this is like how it's like I'm finally comfortable enough to where I feel like I can understand you know, what I'm doing, how I'm doing, how I can go about it. And it also, you know, give it to getting clean too, because when I was using and I was out there, you know, I was literally just like stay at a job for a year, either get fired or leave because I was bored, or I was like, oh, I'm way too good for this. I could find something else and make more money. And then I would go work at a part-time job at the mall or whatever to try and make money because I was trying to use, you know? And so basically, long story short, after I got clean, I started making shirts for one of the NA groups, one of the NA fellowships that I was in. We like came up with this idea for some 7 Tradition type stuff. And I was like, yo, let's just get some money together from the 7 Tradition. I'll make some t-shirts. I'll donate my time to make t-shirts. And then we'll like, you know, just if people want to put in some 7 Tradition and get a t-shirt, we'll ask for a suggested donation and, you know, they'll get a t-shirt. And so I made a whole bunch of t-shirts, and then the word got out, and then like we literally sold through like 40 t-shirts in like a week. And it was like, or well, I not really sold, but you know, the money went to the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. Sure. And it was like, it was a big thing. And I was like, damn, like this could really be something. And so after that, I like moved and I kind of had this idea. I was like, dude, I want to make a t-shirt brand. And I was thinking of the brand I had going in college. And I was like, oh, I want to call it Self-Made because that's what I called it in college, was Self-Made. Sure. And I was like, you know, I'm going to do that and kind of flush out this idea. So I tried to do that for a while and it wasn't really clicking. Like I didn't feel like anything was going to come from it. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just like figure it out, you know, I'll figure it out later. So I continued designing, crazy enough, like started working for this screen printing company in Northwest Colorado, in Craig, Colorado, called Chaos Inc. And got a graphic design job there, started working there. And then basically like, yeah, me and the owner, we clicked, and, you know, he started showing me the ropes and really like brought the passion back of like, dude, I love making t-shirts and I love designing. Yeah. Like I love creating like graphics for t-shirts and then like seeing people wear those t-shirts. And it just brought me like so much joy and just so much just happiness, you know? And, after that, yeah, I moved. And then finally, like, it was probably at the beginning of this year, I really started thinking like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to really start thinking about it and start planning it. And so started kind of planning it in like March, April. And then I really started putting some notes together and watching a lot of videos about like how to run a clothing brand, how to build a website for a clothing brand, how to do social media, how to come up with an idea for successful clothing brands like X, Y, and Z, whatever. And so I really started just like brain dumping everything, you know. I was like, okay. And then there was a video that I watched, so this creative conference was coming up from Lincoln Design Company, and there was this dude from Utah who has this notebook company called Danique Notebooks. And basically he partners with schools and different artists. And he started by just him and his friend, like getting like bounding notebooks together and donating a portion of their proceeds from these notebooks to go to schools to build schools in Africa. And so like,
wow, cool.
So they built this whole company, and now they're to the point where they have a huge building in Salt Lake or north of Salt Lake, and that's all they do is just make these notebooks that have different artists. And he was one of the keynote speakers at this conference, and they put a video out on YouTube, and he was like, hey, if anyone ever wants to contact me or talk to me about entrepreneurship, hit me up. And so I was like, all right, you know, what's the harm? I'll just send him an email.
Well, let's see if he's talking, if he's really going to pony up if I hit him up.
Exactly. Like, let's see if he's talking shit, and let's see if he's actually going to follow through. I literally sent him one email. It's like, hey man, I have this idea and I kind of want to make a brand, and I just want to talk. And literally like a day later, he emailed me back and was like, yeah, let's hop on a Zoom call. And I was like, oh shit. All right. Like, let's make it happen.
It got real.
Yeah. And so that was kind of my first lesson of like, you know, if I build it, they will come type of thing, to where I was like, all right, if I just like, you know, put the works into motion, it'll happen. And so I talked to him on a Zoom call. We talked for about an hour, and that hour really like changed my views on so many things. And he taught me, that first call really taught me a lot of things. And it was like, the first one was
Patience.
one was patience. Yeah, patience for sure. Like you're not gonna get rich in a year, even the 5 years, you know, like, and it's like, and that's when I really also had to adjust my scope too, because nowadays, like you see all this stuff on social media that's like, oh, make $100,000 this way or blah, 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 make all this like cheap, quick money. And it's like, I literally see that. And I'm like, dude, that's so bullshit. You know, like there are no
Just get a
shortcuts.
Shopify account, and once you have the Shopify, take your pictures, put it over here, and
Yeah.
next thing you know,
Done.
you've got $5,000 a day going into your
Yeah.
account, and I'm a millionaire, and here I
Yeah.
am doing fake money, and look at my Lambo, and here's my mansion.
Yeah. And it's like literally
Now,
seeing
click that right there and fill out your email, and we'll get you all signed up and take your
Dude.
money too.
and that's what it is. It's like it's that type of stuff is turning into like a multi like level marketing account, like marketing type stuff. And I'm just like, I saw that, and then I also heard another person say like it was the so the founder of Element Skateboards at this creative conference. He said something really powerful that was like, you know, there are no shortcuts. There are no fucking shortcuts. Like if you want to do something right and you want to do it with like the most like fullness to it, the minute you start taking shortcuts is the minute that you start cutting what you're doing in half. And it's like, you know, so I really had to adjust my my scope. And I was like, dude, like I have to care about this to where like, you know, if there are hard times, when there are hard times, that I will still do it. I have to do this to where it's like really like, yeah, like I have to really be passionate about it, you know? And so that's when Tyler, the guy from Danique, the notebook company, he told me about how you have to have this intersection of like what you're passionate about and something that people need, right? And so it's like you take those two things, and in the middle, where the middle is, that is where your market, or that's what your target is, right? And so I was like, I'm super passionate about recovery and sobriety and like trying to help people find what like that looks like for them. And I'm also super passionate about t-shirts and printing t-shirts. So then boom, right in the middle is a sober t-shirt company, right? And I've seen other t-shirt companies out there that are like sober t-shirts, and I like did a little bit of market research, and I saw like, you know, people do a lot of like print on demand stuff, and they have like designs that have like 12-step sayings and stuff that has like, you know, AA, NA related type stuff.
Cliches.
And yeah, like cliches. And like I saw one shirt and it said like, I'm a sober bitch or something. And I was like, dude, like, and people buy it, and people were buying that stuff. And I was like, dude, like, and for me, that was like, it was just, that was the line. I was like, dude, I'm not going to make stuff that I'm just trying to make a buck off of because of people's sobriety. To me, that's kind of like, it's kind of low. Like,
It's low hanging,
you know,
for sure, 100%.
like, you know, people are trying to like go be out there and be in recovery. And it's like, you know, and I don't know. It kind of just like struck a chord for me. And I was just like, I want to do something that keeps people's anonymity in mind, like visually, right? So then it puts the you know, the power into their hands to where like if they want to talk about their recovery, if they want to talk about their sobriety, they can. You know, if someone wants to come up and say, hey, like, what's your t-shirt all about? They can be like, well, this is The Last Drop and it's a sober clothing brand, and they could leave it at that. Or they could be like, hey, like my friend is in recovery. They bought me this t-shirt and I support them because they're in sobriety. Or they could be like, I'm a recovering addict and here's my story, you know?
That's a cool logo. What bar do you have?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
The Last Drop. I was like, when I saw your logo, I was like, wow, that's a fucking, that looks like you know, something you'd see at your favorite bar, man. You know, like the IPA. You know, I'm gonna get that Last Drop. It's a triple hop IPA, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
Let me get a shirt too, because they love the logo. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was Googling it, and the thing that came up was like a whiskey or something from Ireland or something like that.
Sure,
I'm like, okay, this isn't the right one, but it could be either or. That's the cool. Like it could be, you know, and
It's
it really
ambiguous.
is
It's very
like,
ambiguous.
Yeah. And that's also what I kept in mind about it too, is like, it's like dealer's choice, you know, and I've had so many of my friends who, you know, cause today, like I still have, friends and I have bandmates and, you know, I'm in a band and like those guys party their asses off and they're like, dude, I want to wear one of your shirts. And they're like, can I? And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you want to spend your money on my shirt, go for it. Like,
Thanks
it's
for
all
supporting
you.
me, boys. That's how I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You know, I see what you guys are doing there, and I appreciate you. I love you for that.
Yeah, and it's like it's all about the support, right? And one of my taglines is open up, because it's like no matter what your story is, or no matter, you know, what you're going through, it could, like, instead of be related to sobriety, it could be mental health, it could be domestic violence, it could be you know, sexual abuse, sexual trauma, whatever it is. But like, you know, if that shirt encourages someone to like share their story with someone else, and that other person needs to hear that at that time, and then that like sets off like, damn, that person's story was really heartfelt, you know, it takes it from the material side to like the personal side, to where if someone gets something because they see my shirt and they're like, what's your shirt about? And then that person like talks about their story, and the recipient of that story is like, damn, that was really powerful. I'm going to go to a meeting tonight, or I'm going to go get help, or I'm going to go call the cops on my husband that's beating me, whatever it is, you know, like, then mission accomplished, man. You know, like I'm trying to make a brand that is like, ethical, and that just like spreads a little hope, you know, like
Good to the last drop.
Yeah, it's the last, and it's like it's also the ambiguity part of like it's the last drop. It could be like the last drop of booze, could be the last drop of whatever it is you're using, you know, and there always has to be a last drop. There has to be a last drop before you start a new life, you know.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to have an ending before you can have a new beginning. But I also like, you know, it's like the old coffee, you know, good to the last drop. Mountain grown full juice.
Yeah, there you go.
Drop, you know, and that's what I think. My recovery is good to the last drop. Every day I wake up, you know,
hell yeah,
to the last drop. You know, and
hell yeah,
I'm sucking down some recovery today, you know, and then you get one of, I'm going to throw on the last drop clothing shirt today. God damn it.
Yeah.
I like that white and black jersey number I got there.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So I saw your stuff. Your stuff is really great. You know, for the two designs you have right now, for the tee and the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys drop your drip today, or when is the drip drop?
So the
when
drip
does
is
the drip
the
drop?
drip.
Dude, that's a drip. When's this drip drop, bro?
Yeah. The drip is dropping. So they're getting, I believe they got printed yesterday and today. Okay. So basically, the other thing is I'm a big fan of quality. You know, like I love getting a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a beanie or a pair of pants that you just get them out, you pull them out of the bag, and you're just like, damn, that is a nice pair of pants, or that is a nice t-shirt. And for me, like one of the things that I really love to see is like a tag, like a clip tag sewn onto the bottom of a shirt. And so with the last drop, that's what, you know, there's a clip tag on the bottom left side that just has the logo. And then on the back side, it says open up. And so it's like, I just feel like that adds a little bit of value to it, because it's like, you know, damn, like look at that little tag, just that little tag on the corner. It just like gives it a little bit more. And they still have to like sew those tags on. But after that, and I think that's happening like next week. So hopefully by like end of October, I will have like products in hand, and like more drip, you know, I'll have like the t-shirt and the baseball jersey in hand. I'm going to do like just a one drop. It's going to be a limited drop.
That's what I was going to ask.
12 to 24 pieces, and that's it.
Bro, you got to do, you know, with fall and winter coming, you know, you got to get that scarf out there. You got to get that drippy scarf out there, man, with the last drop right down here where the little, you know, fuzzies hang down low. You know what I'm saying? That drop stuff right there. So when you're hitting the slopes with the last drop, kid, you know, you're up in Granby, you know, hitting the snowboard and, you know, going up there doing a little snowmobiling, you know, because I'll be in Granby in February for a men's retreat. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we go up there and get pretty spiritual, man. It's like when you hit Granby up in Colorado, it is
it's beautiful up there,
surrounded by God.
Oh yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that, the way those mountains come around you like that, and just snow and the sunshine is so perfect, and you can't hear
Yeah.
the sound. And
No.
like when we got there in February of last year, there was like 2 feet of snow, and you know, and the drive up was great. The drive back down was scary as hell because it snowed.
Oh, I
that
bet.
day. It was
Yeah.
like more like blizzard was on the way, and everybody's like doing the flashing lights all the way down that weird swervy ass mountain.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you get. I mean, you're puckered and you're holding white knuckling everything, buddy. You're just hanging on. for dear
Colorado,
life,
baby.
praying that those roads don't get too slip.
Oh, yeah.
because it's crazy. But yeah, Colorado is so beautiful, man. And you know
is.
where Sober Gangster lives out in Sun Valley, Idaho,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. So
Yeah, it's just a
same thing.
beautiful area.
Colorado, Idaho. We're
Yeah,
we get the same weather, same mountains. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
it's real.
Share the
sparkly
same
out there.
mountains. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
yeah.
beautiful, man. You guys. Are
Yeah, I like that
so-
it's a limited drop. That's
Mm.
exciting. I'm going to have to jump in there and make sure I get my hands on one of them when they get released, and then I'll put in my request for the flannels to come out soon.
Oh, you do flannels too?
Dude, flannels, such a good idea. Such a good idea. And that's like
Black and
so
white.
that's
Black and white.
black,
flannels,
yeah,
drippy
black and
drop,
white
bro.
flannels.
Ready
Black
to
and
get
white
naked.
flannels.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And it's like you know, I
Taking
want to
my
make
shirt off
it
right now. I'm feeling it.
it's like pop
Yeah,
it off,
let's
baby.
go. Let's go.
And like I want to make it limited just and it's like it depends, like, you know, I think these first couple of drops that I'm going to do are going to be limited. It's probably going to be like once every couple of months.
Well, you
I've
got the
reached out.
newsletter so people can get notified of the next drippy drop.
Yeah. So that's basically if you go to thelastdropclothingco.com, enter your email into the newsletter, you will be like the first people to know. Exclusive. Yeah. And so then you'll be a part of the Last Drop family. And then after that, you know, I'm gonna wait like a day to announce it on social because, you know, I want the people who like take the effort to go to the website and sign up and who actually like want to be a part of this, because it's
First
like
OGs.
it's
The first
yeah, and
OGs.
it's not you know, I'm really trying to like make it not about me. It's about the brand. It's about people who are curious about sobriety, who are curious about recovery, who are in recovery, who, you know, support people in recovery.
Yeah.
And it's just like I want to make it inclusive and you know, yeah, probably do something seasonal in December, November, probably like hoodies, beanie. I like the flannel. I think the flannel is a
And
killer
the
idea.
scarves. The scarves, bro. The
Scarf.
black and white
Like
stripes.
the
scarves with
hooligan.
flannel. Oh
The
my
hooligan
God.
scarf.
I just can't offer flannels through mine, so you offer flannels so I can promote it.
Done.
Yeah.
I can't get my own flannel, so
You
we'll
can't
let
get
you get the
flannel?
flannel. No,
I got
not-
you.
no.
Why can't you do like those cholo flannels, man, with some,
But
you know,
Someday.
sober gangsters on there, man? I'm
We could do
on
a
the
collab.
Hey, man, look
That's
at
right.
the fucking- I got the
That's-
flannel, homie.
That's why I'll
Dude,
I'll
yes.
collab with the Last Drop and do a exclusive Sober Gangster Last Drop drip drop.
Drip drop.
Drop a
drip
flannel.
drop.
It's that
flannel.
gangster drip drop.
Dude, that'd be
Hey,
sweet. We
so
could
I
get
was-
like a SG embroidered over the
Sure.
heart with like the
Yeah, it goes on the
with that black
sleeves.
letter
Like you
Yeah.
put SG on the sleeve, and then you have
Oh,
the
yeah.
drippy drop guy on the pocket.
on the
We're
pocket.
getting we're so sidetracked. We're so
go.
sidetracked.
Yeah. Well, it's
I'm talking about.
We had a message of hope, and we've been sharing all that good stuff. Here's the, you know what he shared today, and if you're paying attention and you're just joining us and you're hanging out, you know the message of hope is that in 3 years you too could do something like this. You know,
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
and the one thing I got out of what you shared was, man, how much more receptive are we to learn now that we're clean? That
Dude, yeah.
we weren't using, we could, yeah, I'm gonna get around to it. Yeah, I'm gonna go onto that side. I'm gonna get my degree. I'm gonna clean those gutters and make my bed, and fucking none of it got done. But
No.
now you get a guy a
Oh.
little bit of recovery under his ass, and all of a sudden you tell him that there's a brilliant idea. You give it, put a little seed in the old melon there and let that thing harvest for a second. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're skinning back the top and watering that beautiful flower. Next thing you know, you're learning. You know, and,
Well,
and you got
that's where
flowers
recovery-
popping out of your ears.
Recovery is our superpower. Once we get it,
100.
I mean, there is nothing that can stop you. And in 3 short years, you've, you know, started a amazing clothing company and followed your dream from back in college. So it's
Yeah.
amazing that what you can accomplish once you get that recovery, that foundation of recovery, I think is a big one. You know, you really talked about that foundation and, you know, your core beliefs and your core practices that you apply to all areas of your life. And once you have that, you can really just, the doors open up. It's the promises I think that you hear about.
9-step promises right there. Little AA action.
Yeah. And it's just, it's amazing. Like where, you know, what has come from like this short amount of time of just like 3 years clean. And it's like, you know, I look back and I'm like, dude, what was I doing? Like, holy shit, you know? And, it just, it blows my mind. And also like all the support that I've been getting for this too, you know, with like the month that my social accounts have been open, I've gotten, you know, really, really good feedback on like on Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook. And it's just like, man, it's great because, you know, people get it. People who are in this, like they get it, you know, and it's like, yeah. And I can't say it enough. Like it's not about me. I'm trying to make it about others, and I'm trying to make it so like someone can get a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of hope, you know? Like I want us all to be hope dealers. And that's why I'm like so grateful that you're doing this podcast and you're, you know, you guys are doing what you guys are doing, because it's like the more that we can like bring the hope and be the hope dealers, like the better of a chance that we have for people having to like maybe win and not die tomorrow, you know, because it's really what it's coming down to is like people are dying. Like it was like in September, they said there was over 100,000 people that have died from addiction in September. And it's just, and for this whole year, of 2023. And it's just like, dude, what is like, that's more than, this old timer shared in a meeting a couple months ago that like, you know, that's more people who've died in like, you know, the past couple of like wars and tragedies that have happened in America. Like it's an epidemic, and people are like, oh, it's there, but what do we do about it? I don't know. So like, that's where we come into play. We got to do something about it. Cause if we don't, who's going to do something about it? You know?
So what would you say to that person who's still suffering right now? I know we're running close on our time, so I'd love to hear what you'd have to say to that person still suffering right now.
Man, I would tell them that, you know, it's okay. There is an answer. That there are others that, and I'm trying to think of it like how I would tell myself if I was using and I was like in the middle and I was like, oh no, I don't want to hear that shit. And you know, if you're out there and you are saying, I don't want to hear this shit, and if you heard a couple minutes of it, man, I just say like, just try it out. Just give something a try, whether it's 12-step or a Pier 180 or an Oxford House or sober living. Like if you want to change your life and you feel like you have a problem, like you are the only one who can do it. No one else is going to do it for you. And like, just know that like, there is another way. There's another way to live, and that other way to live, you know, it's not painful. There's some stuff that is painful, but it's not as painful as the shit that I've been through. That is for sure.
On a side note, on top of that, man, I always say this, and I told this to my sponsees, you know, when they first came in, I said, hey, you know, now that we're together, you know, the one thing I want to teach you is stop quitting on yourself. Stop quit. You never quit on your dope, man. You never quit it. You never quit on your habit. You know, you kept feeding it every day. You made sure to never give up on that. And now you're looking for a new answer. So now it's time to not give up on yourself anymore. It's about time to start learning to love yourself. And until you know, as you know, the old adages, all the old timers tell you when you come, let us love you until you can love yourself. But you know, that's what I tell all my guys. It's like, hey man, let's just get in here. Let's just get this thing started, man. But don't, whatever you do, no matter what, don't quit on yourself. No matter what, you know, it's not worth it, because it's a lot easier to stay clean than it is to get clean. That's for sure.
Yep. Sometimes it's painful on the other side, but it's definitely like not as painful as if I were to pick up and start using tomorrow. Like that would just, you know, it would fall apart so quickly. And it's just like, there's a softer, easier way to do it, and it's on this side of the fence. I mean, after being on the other side of the fence, I can easily say that over here is like, dude, I would take over here, and the BS problems I have to deal with on a daily basis is like, cake and rainbows and unicorns compared to the
Pixie
the
dust.
stuff that I had to deal with over here, So if you're out there, just hang on, and you're using still, just hang on, and just give something a try, and just know that like where you're at, it's okay where you're at. Just if you want a better life and you want to stop doing what you're doing, just like give something a try. I'm not telling you to go anywhere, do anything, but if you see something or hear something, just give it a try, man.
Just
Give
for
it a
today.
try.
Just try
Just
to.
for today.
And I heard this on another show I was on last night, and I really loved it. But they just reiterated, like, if you're struggling and you're hurting, if you're having dark thoughts, DM me, reach out to me, reach out to Sober Gangster,
Hit
come
me
to my
up.
website, go to Tim at
The Last Drop Clothing Co.
Last Drop Clothing Co. Reach out to Shot of Hope Live. Like, we're all here.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Remember that?
monitor the Shot of Hope Live Facebook and website pages. So, I mean, you can go on there and sign up for our newsletter at the shotofhope.live. You can read the blogs. There's blogs on there where if you really need something to change your mind, maybe you're thinking about what going back after a relapse. I just did a blog about that. Finding God in the rooms. I mean, I got stuff for everybody. I should say, we have something for everyone, whether it's at the lastdropclothingco.com, it's at sobergangster.com, the shotofhope.live. Find us at the Shot of Hope Shot of Hope Live Instagram and Facebook. Sober Gangsters on Instagram and Facebook. The Last Drop Clothing Co. is on Instagram. And you guys on Facebook as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to add you on Facebook. I didn't look there yet. Are you on Twitter too? Are you on all that funky, crazy stuff?
Yeah,
All the kids-
Twitter, TikTok,
all of
yeah,
it. Vines,
baby.
Snapchat, and butt
Be
squeeze
Real,
and whatever else
Be
they got
Real
out there.
now.
Yeah, OscarMyers.com and whatever else it is.
Well,
All the bullshit out there.
it reminds me of the story you told about the gentleman you reached out to with the notebook company, and you're like, I'm just going to give it a shot. I mean, this guy's a big CEO. He's probably not going to. Same thing. If you're struggling, reach out. We will reply. We're here to help.
For sure.
So.
And that's around the clock, and I give people out my personal number. Matter of fact, the number to the show goes to my cell phone.
I think it's on my personal number's on my website. My wife was like, do you have your personal number on there? I'm like, absolutely I do.
Yeah, might as well.
This is
My
to help
primary
people
purpose is
struggling.
to help another addict stay clean one day at a time. That's the primary purpose of the program,
Exactly.
And you can reach us at 803-526-7858. Chris O'Connor, my man, dude, you are always welcome back on the show anytime you want to come by. Matter of fact, on weeks where we don't have guests, we have a laundry list of people that want to come and fill in when we don't have people. Next week we have Joel Anthony. He has the Sober Sessions on Facebook. Check out his page, like his page, follow his page. He's really cool. He's going to come on. Great message, powerful dude. He's from New Hampshire, and he's got a really great message of hope. And of course, the lastdropclothingco.com. Go there and get the drippy drop when it happens. Get yourself some of those jersey tees. Those jersey tees are fire as shit.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
probably going to try and sneak one of those out. I'm probably going to have to drop, put a little coin on there and support my boy here because I did like that jersey tee.
Thanks,
and if you don't mind hanging around for us, we're going to roll out of here in a second. But we'll talk to you on the other side. Hey, thanks for joining us at Shot of Hope Live. Recovery never sounded so good.